the same thing every year at the start of the season. There are these insecurities. You're at the start line of your first race and suddenly you start to doubt everything. Is my bike in the best condition ever? Am I in the best condition ever? Has my preparation been as good as I hoped it would be? And lastly, but most importantly, have I trained enough? Like everybody on the start line will have these doubts. I have to tell myself that I'm not the only one who has these doubts. When you're standing there on the start line with 400 other people, it's probably also one of their first races in the season. Everybody has the same doubts. And to make sure that those voices in our head are not going to affect the race, we have thought about something like a training race or a preparation race. So that's what I did the week prior to my first big race of the season, just to test the legs and see if I would be anywhere competitive. This is very important, you should not forget this. The person who is watching this and knows what I'm talking about probably will know why you should not forget this. Also, you should not throw it on the ground. Important, front axle. Hey, we're on our way to the training race in het Low.
Dat is heel belangrijk. Hou het vanaf zichtbaar en dan zijn we 2 minuten voor de start. Ja mannen, maak hier een hele mooie koers van en ik wens jullie heel veel succes.
I enjoyed it very much to be back in the bunch. And yeah, it's always a little bit scary the first time, or maybe not scary, but I'm always a little bit anxious the first time. And curious, of course, how the legs are, how the form is at the moment. But it was just 2 hours having fun. It was a little bit boring at times. It's just a lap of 3.5 kilometers, 4 corners, and just 4 long straights basically. There was little wind. It was a bit chilly, but like if you're riding the bike at a high pace, I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter because you're warming up yourself as well. So yeah, that concludes the race. I'm now going to drive back home and hopefully I can still catch something from the omloop because today is omloop day and we all know when it's omloop day, the season is about to get started. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Ik zal maar zeggen, versnelling.
35 seconden heeft die pitstop geduurd voor een voorwiel. Dat is lang.
I've just come back from a ride and I was just checking the mail and look what came in today. We've got something coming up. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I've got my number for the first race of the year. I'm going to ride the Mountainbike Marathon in Apeldoorn, 100 kilometers on the mountain bike. It's been quite a long time since I've touched my mountain bike, so I better start preparing. and we're off for a 105-kilometer long mountain bike marathon race through the woods around Apeldoorn. As we say in Dutch, this is more a boswielrennen kind of mountain bike marathon, which means there's a lot of these open, wide, hard-packed gravel tracks, and will be very fast today. There is not so much elevation in this route, so position will be key, and you see that I'm already stuck behind a lot of traffic here. And it's important that you choose the right lines in the corners, which I obviously didn't do here, and yeah, I'm getting boxed in left and right. And fast forward to the next corner, I'm just trying an old school road cycling trick, just take the inside really hard, and I gained some position here again, which I lost in the previous corner. And after the corners is always full on the throttle, full gas towards the next one, and sometimes things aren't going as well as people had hoped, I guess. But luckily I could avoid those. On the single tracks it's pretty much single file, there's not really any room to take over here, so it's waiting until the track really gets wider again before we can start moving up to the front. Luckily it didn't take too long before it widened up, so yeah, you see me passing a couple of riders here, which are already dropping because of the pretty high pace in front of the race. You also see that I'm having a little bit of trouble here accelerating out of the corners, and I needed to close up a couple of gaps because of this. This was, yeah, maybe something that I need to work on. In the meantime, we hear somebody screaming left because we were missing a turn here. And yeah, you see the whole group passing by, and I'm basically losing all my positions which I gained before. By now I basically lost all belief that I would see the front of the race ever again, and I took it a little bit easier than in the first 10-15 kilometers of the race because there was still a long way to go. And then this happened. I was stuck behind another of these crashes, and with losing even more time, coming to the front of the race seemed like an impossible challenge. But somehow the pace up front was not that high, so we were actually able to catch up with the front of the race. But this also created some new problems, as I was still not able to pass on this very narrow cycling path, and we were just one sharp left-hander away from another single track. And that was the last time that I saw the front of the race. From here on it was basically full gas to the finish line, but also trying to save some energy for the remaining 2 laps. In total we had to do 3 laps of 35 kilometers. You can see that the course is not too technical, but there are some single tracks here and there which are stretching up the group, so it was important to stay in front of the group, which I didn't do, and as you can see here I needed to close some gaps, but eventually I will manage to get back to the group. We're slowly wrapping up lap 1 of the race, and we're riding on this little bike park section which had some pretty fun trails. The main goal here was just to keep up with the group and try to save some energy for the rest of the race. In the second lap of the race, I lost contact with this group I'm riding in now. The pace was just a little bit too high, and I chose to ride at my own pace just to make sure I could maintain that pace until the finish line. We quickly fast forward to the last lap because in the second lap I was riding alone a lot, and those images looked a lot like this, and that doesn't make up for a very entertaining video. Sadly enough, I was being passed by a pretty big group just before the bike park in the last lap, so my good position was basically ruined, but I was still pretty pleased with my 45th spot at the finish line.
Hendrik is ook binnen. Langs de hand, hè?
Well, that was a pretty tough race. I was just comparing the numbers from last year to the numbers what I did this year in the same race. And to be totally honest, I was a little bit disappointed to see that the numbers were matching a lot. I almost did the same amount of average and normalized watts this year compared to last year. The fun thing, however, is that this year I was 10 to 15 minutes faster compared to last year, and also my position in the field was a lot better. I think I gained like 30 places. So last year I became 75th and this year 45th or something. And to come back where we started this video with all the doubts that were living inside my head, those doubts are definitely still there. This race didn't take those away. But the most important thing from now on will just be to believe in the process and just giving it my all to all the training sessions. And on the subject of training your ass off, in the next video I will be attending my team training camp in a very popular cycling destination somewhere in Europe. So maybe we can play a little bit of a guess game here and you can leave your answers down below where you think this team training camp will be. Please do not forget to subscribe because then you can see the next videos, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Adios!